great-grandfather who was an orphan, mid-1800s, studying at an orphanage at the Gustav Werner Bruderhaus in Germany, where Gottlieb Daimler was the director of basically the design department. The two of them worked together for the next 35 years because Daimler discovered Maybach's talent. They together started the Daimler Motor Company, at that time the DMG, Daimler Motorengesellschaft, and really that allowed my great-grandfather, who was effectively the chief technical officer of the Daimler Motorengesellschaft, with a number of variations of getting in and getting out, to design the first high-speed internal combustion engine, first motorized bicycle, the first modern car, the first Mercedes. And he then exited from the Mercedes company and then put his efforts into working together with his son Karl. They together effectively founded the Maybach Motorenbau, which originally built engines for the Zeppelin dirigibles. A lot of effort through the World War I, after Treaty of Versailles, no more of that, focused largely on rail and marine segments. So the cars coming out in effectively 1918, 1920, Karl Maybach's vision, the first 12-cylinder engine in Germany at the very least, coming out with these luxurious saloons, which were then twilighted as we entered the World War II era. Fast forward, 1960s, the Daimler Motor Company starts to really gain traction and buying into the company through a variety of ways. And it's really in the 1960s that the Maybach brand, what was going in the automotive direction and in the large engine, large diesel engine direction, bifurcated, where the MTU marquee really represented these large engines, and Maybach went and hibernated on the Daimler balance sheet for the next 40 years. Again, fast forward to 1997, Daimler Motor Company revives the Maybach concept car. That ran for 10 years, effectively 2002 to 2012. So, interestingly enough, at about that time as well, a small German production company, Ivco, was developing some Maybach eyewear under license from the Daimler Motor Company. Did a great job, and we got to know each other, really respected, had a great resonance with each other. And so the Maybach family, the Schmid-Maybach family on my side, really joined forces with them on a strategic level and an investment level in order to build that out. And wouldn't you know it, 2014 this year, towards the end of this year, the Daimler Motor Company decides to relaunch the Maybach marquee in the form of the Mercedes S-Class Maybach. So I know that they're still assembling their marketing teams and their product teams and so forth, but we're very excited about potential for working together, both the Maybach Icons of Luxury accessory group that we're now involved with, and then the also Daimler Maybach Automotive Group. There's a difference between family business and family managed core operating businesses and corporately operated and managed businesses. And you know, that set of values, that attitude, that belief ties these family businesses together. And certainly in the European space, the Mittelstand, these family Mittelstand businesses are really the workhorses of the economy. And you know, we're talking about healthy balance sheets on the most part, lesser aggressive debt ratios that are being taken on, and a more integrated approach to the product in the first place, because you have these multi-generational areas where even at a conference like where we've just been, somebody will step forward and say, "Dad, I'm ready to enter the business." And that means something. That doesn't mean, oh, you know, I'll take a job. It's more, I've thought about this. I know the opportunity is always there, but I thought about it, now I've decided to do it. That's what I call commitment. There's a cycle of operating business turning into investment business, turning into nurturing and incubating new entrepreneurial ideas. And so it's always very, very refreshing to see somebody from the next generation saying, you know, pharmaceuticals isn't my thing. I want to start a shoe company. And so that's how I think family businesses are able to evolve. And perhaps it's a misnomer to say, well, you know, we've been forestry, we always will be, we always be forestry in the future. Well, a forestry business may turn into an investment business, or through an evolution of retreating from operating, going to board and advisory, going to investment, going to portfolio, going to nurturing and incubating new businesses that then become really a powerful, powerful force of both, you know, a stable investment portfolio and incubating these new ideas. There are two things going on. One is we were in the cycle where the family position in the company had been reduced to the point where we basically had to let go. And then myself as being in the next generation looking and saying, you know, how could this be? How could we let it go so far? And yet inheriting that position and saying, okay, what am I going to do? And saying, okay, I'll remain involved with them as best I can just to kind of remain as a chief quality control officer, if nothing else, to say, listen, these products need to still represent the heritage values that we're talking about, innovation and excellence and being a step ahead. But at the same time, there was a bifurcation of the brand in itself. You know, what do large diesel engines that are as big as a small bedroom have to do with luxury products? So in a sense, we've said, well, why don't we just carve out that luxury component and allow it to express itself independently of these other things. So we're choosing a part of the original brand personality and bringing it out. And I think part of that is tied to the romance of travel that goes back 150 years, the romance of auto touring, these wonderful times back at the turn of the century, in the 1900s, 1920s, 1930s. And at the same time still giving a nod and respecting the fact that the original engine business needs to go on and thrive as well. So I think it's almost like a plant that allows shoots and offshoots, or taking a cutting from a plant and then allowing that plant to grow into something new and different. In terms of the Maybach icons of luxury, we have no expectation of payout anytime soon. In other words, we've made this investment because we think it's a smart economic investment on the long term, on the long vision, and I mean 20 to 50 years. I mean, we're in this thing for the long run.